Well, good afternoon. It's the 23rd of Friday, 23rd of October. I'm up here in Wood End. I'm Mike. You can get me anytime on 61 418 322 381 or mike at flavel.com.au. Now, I'm just inspired to do a little presentation based on my observations, my learnings, my awareness, some of the problems, events, solutions, branding, and tribe. And I want to pay tribute to a, a book I've read, and a program I got involved with called Half Time. A little bit of background is that Bob Buford, who wrote this book, said it's time, every now and again, we realise that we've reached a point in our lives which he called half time. Now this can happen when could happen when you're 20, could happen when you're 30, 50, 75, or even 77 like I am. But there's a certain point in time when we can virtually create enough time and financial resources to be doing something different. So, but I use the curve that he draws to describe something I want to illustrate. The other reading that I've done, of course, is our good friend the Bible. But let's look at the curve here, which I've called, the black line is called the A plan, or plan A. And plan A is the one that probably 90 odd percent of the population follow, because here I've just put some age groups across here, say 25, 50, 75 and 100 plus, and little diagrams here to say, well, here most of us thrive in this area because it's when we've been looked after by our parents, and it's when we go to school and we have lots of friends and we don't have too many responsibilities other than to be good folk. Then around here we go to the workforce and we start earning some money, and I'm going to try and abbreviate this because we all know what Plan A involves. It involves earning some money. It involves getting married as a rule when we get to about 28, 30. It involves having kids in our 30s, and we are being educated. But one of the things that happens to us is that we start our needs of life that we need to get a house and a place to live in. So what do? We go out and borrow some money. And from that point on, when we borrow money, life changes quite dramatically because we are on what's called the mortgage treadmill. And just say, for argument's sake, nowadays in Melbourne you need to be looking at to buy a house anywhere near the city or anywhere near where other people are. It's going to cost you about $1 million. So you're going to have to borrow probably 800,000. I don't know what that would cost you because it's a while since I did my arithmetic, but it's a loan which is going to last, which most banks say you've got to pay it back in about 25, 30 years. So now we're up to around about 50 odd. But in the meantime, we've got married, we've had kids, we've got to start educating little buggers. And if we're going to send them to the traditional Plan A private school, we're going to have to borrow some more money because we still haven't got rid of our loan, and most of us, like me anyway, we spent most of what we earned. And if we're really wise, we've maybe been able to make a few investments back here. But anyway, let's look at what could happen here if we really when we go over the top of this curve, because when we get to around here, many of us realise that the corporate life that we've been involved with isn't as great as what it had been back here, because there's younger people coming in. We've been tested with perhaps our moral codes, and there are things which we have to do which not too uncomfortable, and it's becoming a rather rarefied atmosphere up here. And for many of us, And it happened to me when I was about 55 that I was virtually told that I wasn't able to perform to the to the level required, so they gave me the flick. And but I was fortunate. I went and got another job which was paying for, which was able to sustain me for another few years, and that worked out quite well. But had I been a little bit wiser, I would have done what I'm trying to get the message out, that we need to have what I call a Plan A substitute. So I call it Plan B, Plan C or Plan D. And because what's happening now is we're going to be living to about here somewhere, but our earning capacity is going to start reducing about here somewhere. But we've got a lifestyle which we've become accustomed to, our kids have become accustomed to, things we've done, things we belong to, and all that stuff that takes a continued income to do. So unless we've got something happening here to substitute for what's happening there, we're going to find ourselves in a spot of bother financially. And not just financially, but we're going to probably have to move to another downsize and do things and lose a few friends on the way. So the message I'm trying to say is, look at getting a side gig going when you're capable and when everything is in order, so that you've got your health, your finance and your well-being covered for this period over here. Now, some of the solutions I've come up with for me are that I've been a veteran multi-level marketer for a long time, and as we know, it takes a long time to learn how to do something new when we've been learning all these tricks down here for the Plan A, but then we need to institute a Plan B, which often goes against what the Plan A. So anyway, there's a book I read called Start With Why, written by Simon Sinek, and at age 77, I've got a chance to sail in what they call the Finn Grand Masters when I turn 80, and that's become the motivating force for me to get my act together and get a Plan B, C or D going. And I've got a couple of things in mind which I shall share with you if you find that you're interested. I don't want to tell you what they are now, but they all have potential income, they all contribute to health, they can contribute to my finances and well-being, and they do offer some solutions to how to sustain ourselves into here, because what's happened in the last 12 months, nearly 12 months now, is that a totally unexpected, to most anyway, pandemic arrived in the form of COVID-19 and virtually wiped out probably 30% of the world's economy, a part of the economy which was where people were thriving and doing quite well, but it's now that just isn't going to happen, and the amount of stimulus or money printing that's taken place is going to have to be paid for quite a while. And I'm not an economist, but that's just not going to happen easily, and the future generations are going to be paying for this for ages. And unfortunately, it's also reduced our the freedoms that we've been able to enjoy over the years. So that's my biggest concern, is that the youth of tomorrow just won't have the feeling of freedom that I was brought up with back in the good old days. So anyway, just want to leave you with a little message that we don't want to get into this period of slow, lingering decay, and we arrive at the pine box with virtually people feeling in a sorry state as opposed to a thriving state, and we arrive there broadside in, tip me in and bury me, because I've done all I can possibly do. And so if you want to just discuss this whole thing further with me and become part of a tribe. I don't know if it's my tribe, but part of a tribe which wants to thrive and get on with life in the later years and be useful, just give us a call, give us an email, 61 418 322 381 or mike@fleavel.com.au. I'd love to hear from you. Bye now.